entropy.
Yeah, so we have very technical ways of studying this. And yes, and my favorite, so there are tuning problems that are expressed in a lot of different ways. And I think you mentioned the horizon problem. There's sort of different ways of doing that. But my favorite way to really, I think that really gets to the crux of it, is to talk about the entropy of the universe. And not only does it, I think, get to the crux of the nature of the tuning that we talk about, but also to the crux of the um, way it seems very complicated to address the nuances of whether or not it's a legitimate question.
Totally. Maybe even just start again. The people who are watching, some are deeply familiar with entropy and the second law, some are less so. Maybe just give us a thumbnail sketch and
Sure,
then talk about how it's relevant to the universe.
sure. Well, maybe something to talk about is just putting milk in your coffee. So if I have a cup of black coffee and I put a little milk into it, um, I can stir it up and it changes color and the milk gets mixed all the way around. Um, that's something that we can't possibly reverse. It's a very straightforward physical process that we cannot run in reverse. If you were to capture, I remember when I was a kid in school, they'd show these ridiculous educational movies. The big fun we had. And it's interesting because maybe that's a precursor to my career. The fun we could have is if we could persuade the teacher. The movies would come on a reel of film, and part of the job was to rewind it after we watched it. And if we could persuade the teacher to rewind it by running it back through the projector, we could watch the whole thing in reverse, which was hilarious. And that's the thing.
Hey, Andy, we have one of those. Can we show
Yeah,
you one of those
yeah,
just for the fun of it?
yeah.
Do we have that wine glass?
Oh no, with the wine and
That's what your
everything.
teacher showed. And then,
Oh,
yes. And then, oh, yes, there it is. So all those little particles are coming back together.
yeah.
Yeah, you never get tired of seeing
Never
something
get
like
tired
that.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. The the so this is so much part of our everyday life that we know it goes one way and not the other. In fact, it's so much part of our everyday life that it's very hard if as a physicist we're trying to develop a theory where we're not assuming it in the outset. It can be very hard to do because we let it slip in. It's so much part of our intuition. And I love Lenny Susskind has a term he uses for that, which is temporal provincialism, something that apparently comes from literary criticism. But he says we're provincial in the sense that we have an arrow of time, and we're so used to it, we have trouble setting aside the intuition that comes from that. Um, so yes, so we have a very clear experience in our world where time goes one way and not another, and there's a technical approach to understanding that physicists use called entropy, and in roughly speaking, it's a measure of the onset of disorder, and and you saw the disorder in that wine glass for sure. There's also disorder in the milk, mixing the milk and the coffee, and sort of any of these other examples that you might think of. And I think I actually, well, I have a TEDx talk where I play with that. So that's another place people can look for some
Sure.
fun with the destruction that creates disorder and so on. But the technical analysis of such things uses the term entropy, and we say this clear direction of time going one way and not the other we call the arrow of time. And in the world of physics, we talk about the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the entropy will always increase.